Welcome back to the Living for His Glory podcast. I'm here with another week with somebody that's really near and dear to my heart. This one could get very emotional, so I'm just warning you guys. This week I have my dad on here with me.
What's up, fellas?
And if you guys are keeping track of my YouTube videos of this, the background that you see back here is my dad's. It's my dad's office. It's his whole setup. Living for His Glory podcast is directly sponsored by Barrett himself. That's my main sponsor. It's great and I love it and I'm incredibly blessed to have everything that I do. You worked very hard to get here. And that's going to become really apparent with what we talk about today. We are going to get a little bit of your story today. And we had your brother on here last week, Mike. So we learned a little bit from there, which was also a really amazing episode. If you guys didn't watch that, I would encourage you to watch that one too. And I would love to talk, especially after talking with Mike, I'd love to talk to you about what it looks like to be not a self-made man, but a God-made man. And I know you really were transformed and you made it all a lot just from your own hard work, your own grit and determination and learning. God played such an important part of that. And so I'm really excited to get into that. And yeah, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's this is cool. It's a full circle moment, and yeah, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah,
Yeah, so just get into a bit of your story a little bit, just your upbringing a little bit, what you do now, what's gotten you into that, and what's really shaped and formed you throughout your life.
yeah, I love that. But yeah, I grew up, and I always say it this way: I grew up in a single wide trailer, government cheese and food stamps, and then I graduated high school with a 1.56 GPA. And my dad fired me when I was two. And I know that's a heavy joke. And I know what everybody's thinking. Not everybody has those advantages, but you too can be successful even if you didn't have all those advantages. And so it's just funny how life turns out. Don't feel sorry for 49-year-old Barry. I say we feel sorry for 9-year-old Barry. But, and I don't even know about that, but that guy, that kid, his perseverance created today's perseverance.
What does that look like? What do you mean by that?
A 9-year-old Barry was scared, afraid, acted tough. I did have the advantage, like the real advantage of having my brother Mike. He's 10 months and 28 days older than me. He's never really been a kid, so to speak. And so he was early and often took the role of being, it sounds weird to people, but like the parent, the father figure that you look up to. And we were blessed in that.
Good. Awesome. Just coming from that place of coming from, you talk about growing up in a trailer, talk about living on food stamps growing up,
Yeah.
not having a true father figure in the household. Having your older brother, yes,
Yeah.
but not having that true. There's times we've talked a little bit about your relationship with your grandfather, my great grandfather, Papa.
Yeah.
How much of a role has that really played in that?
Papa was the role, right? And so early on, when my dad left when we were two, I was two, Mike was three. Papa took us in, and Papa, he's 92 years old. I tell people he's tougher than a pine knot. And so Papa and Meemaw, they really parented us really early because my mom, today's her birthday, by the way, Nana's birthday, texted her.
Not yet. Not
All
yet.
right. Happy birthday, mom.
Yeah.
She's, I think, 68 today. She's 18 years older than me. She's 17 years older than Mike. And so when she had us, you think about it this way. Today, she would be 19 years old. She had two children under 2 years old and no husband. And I didn't have the appreciation for that until I got much older. And so there was some misplaced resentment with my mom that I have apologized for and since understood. She's very strong, but me, mom, and papa, like, were the foundation of that, those children. And they like to laugh about it now. Me and Mike were into everything. Now, Papa defends us like crazy. And he really feels, and Meemaw did too, that me and Mike were their children, even though we were grandchildren. because we lived with them and they just played this like huge pivotal point in our lives. So me, mom, papa, like literally set the foundation of stability in our lives.
Yeah.
Because minus that, it would likely have went a very different direction. One of the things that I've understood today is I don't resent my dad because I actually just have a lot of pity for him. And because I'm thinking, I used to think he left because he was a bad person. But what I know today is he left because he was a scared man and he was weak. And because his parents were scared and weak, his dad was scared and weak. Our, if you do the research, my dad, my granddad on that side died at a young age, and all the things that probably come with that. I don't know the mysteries of those things. I just do a lot of self-reflection and know that people are not usually bad people, so to speak, maybe. They are bad if they do a lot of bad things consistently. You are what you consistently do, and your habits are. Like people say, oh, he ran with the wrong crowd. He's not a bad person. Run with the wrong crowd long enough, you are the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
So I've told you that before. So you can't just blame other people. But me, mom, papa set the stage for our stability and really just our maturity, and Papa taught me how to be a man more than any other man, and it's not even close.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about it.
Have you ever read the book of Judges?
I've read some,
All right.
but not like you.
It's a huge cycle of Israel's, they're with God, they're right, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
They fall into temptation, they fall into sin. God delivers them into an oppressor, so they're
Mm.
getting oppressed, and then a judge rises up to save them after Israel's repenting. They're like, "Oh my gosh, we're sorry, like deliver us." God raises a judge and restores them, and the cycle repeats over and over again, like
Mm.
probably 7 times, I think, six
Yeah.
maybe. Israel only gained an oppressor because they were falling out of favor from God, because they weren't doing godly things. They were rebelling against God, they were sinning against God, and so God, in response, delivered them into those oppressors.
Mm.
As I believe the word that it uses, I know that word God gave or God delivered is definitely used in Daniel when they were delivered to the Babylonians in exile. This is before the exile, but it's the same principles no matter what God is giving. Especially the Israelites being his people, God is giving them what they have chosen.
Mm.
They have chosen to rebel against God. They have chosen to rebel, chosen to turn away from him. And so, God, respecting their choices and their free will, gave them into those oppressors until they instead chose to repent. And
Mm.
then, of course, the cycle starts over and over again because at the end of the day, we're children who don't really know better.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, like talking about you are who you're around. I think it was Jim Rohn that said you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with the most.
That's right.
I'm glad you told me who said that because a lot of people I hear people say it, but they don't know who said it. And
That's
I'm
right.
like, hey, you don't even know who said that?
That's right.
I
Jim Rome.
yeah, I grew up with a good dad.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Oh yeah. I've actually thought about I've used to be 5 people,
Mm.
but then we became a society run by the internet. And so then it became for me the 5 things that you're around. So
Mhm.
4 people, but I'm around my phone more than anybody. I'm around the algorithm, Instagram, TikTok
Mm.
more than just about anybody. And so it became what am I filling my brain with from that algorithm?
Yeah.
And now it's to the point of what am I filling my brain with when am I talking with ChatGPT and
Yeah.
AI?
Yeah.
Well, how is that feeding into me?
Yeah.
So it's not even just about people anymore.
Mm.
It's about what is pouring into me.
That's right. That's
And
right.
is one of those things the Bible pouring into me?
Yeah.
Am I around the Bible more than 4 different things?
Yeah.
How is that shaping me? How is that pouring into me?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. I can see your mind working with that.
Yeah,
That's
honestly, yeah, it's good. It's a good concept. I don't do a lot of the socials. And
no,
I'm not
no.
a social media guy. I do watch YouTube. I call it the YouTubes,
The
of
YouTubes.
course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those algorithms pour into me, and I can tell you how I feel when how I listen to those types of things as well. And I have been really more intentional now of getting more from the Bible. You've always
Yeah.
been very intentional, and I love it. It's the joy of my world. But I tell people, I'm like, he's more biblical than I am, which is really cool. Honestly, you just taught me a lot of things about Judges. I'll spend a lot in the New Testament. I'll take and
Yeah.
I'm good at breaking down like little verses and things, but I love that you're doing that. And we all have our plan, right? We all study our thing. And I had a client the other day that asked me, do you filter everything that you think through the Bible? I'm like, yeah, man. Everything about business, everything about fatherhood, everything about marriage, everything about fitness, everything about finances. Like it's a filter straight from the Bible because the Bible has great principles. And if you live by those principles, you're pretty much good to go. Now, what you're talking about the judges a while ago, it immediately, the reason that they fell out of God's favor because they didn't do what he said, that's just one story, but there are stories also where people did exactly what God said and they fell
Yeah.
out of maybe not favor, but they didn't have a great time. Job most notably is that person.
Yeah, that's a great Old Testament story, the Job.
So, this whole thing about prosperity and if you do these things, you will be prosperous. It's not a mathematical equation. That's why I love Proverbs because it's like if you do these things, the probability is these outcomes will happen. It says raise up a child which they should go, and when they're old, they should not part from it. And it's a proverb because some people raise up their children perfectly well, and then those children never come back to the word of God. Like we just know that's true because we can watch. And maybe they just ran out of time and died too early, therefore didn't come back to God. But like I've raised you honestly, and you do just don't have a prodigal son story on the side of yet. Maybe you do. I don't know if you're going to do this or not. I'm hoping you don't. If you do, I'm going to love you through it. Also, I will chastise you through it by love. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
I will not just be like, he's going to come back and I'm just going to love him through it with softness. I love with a lot of hardness,
Yeah.
that. And whether it's hard, I don't know, but there's consequences. There's always grace, but consequences are a thing too.
Yeah.
And I'll try to help you to understand, like when I'm raising you or Lacey, I'm like grace without consequence. I always start with consequences without grace equals rebellion. Grace without consequences equals apathy. And so you have to, there's two sides. Yeah, Jesus paid it all, and to him all I owe, right? There's a song about it. He paid the ultimate price. It means that I believe on Jesus, I don't have to go to hell. But if I steal from someone and the cops catch me, I cannot be like, Jesus paid it all. And the judge says, you're still going to prison. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You're still going to jail. That's a consequence. Jesus doesn't absolve us of consequences of our behaviors.
No. And before I say my piece, why do you think that is?
Because if he doesn't, you won't learn nothing.
Yeah.
No, that's not grammatically correct. But their fathers who love their children let them experience consequences because the lack of consequences is the lack of love.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we live more like Christ in a lack of consequence. There was one man who didn't deserve a consequence, and he got the worst one.
Oh, yeah.
So if we as a Christian, it means like Christ,
Yes.
following Christ,
Yeah.
living for Christ. And if we talk about pain and suffering, we think about it's a bad thing. It's a great thing
Yeah.
because if we're talking about following Christ, Jesus was led to the cross.
Yeah.
That's what Evan Davis said on here several months ago when we were first
Yeah.
picking this back up. I
Yeah.
loved it. It's a great quote.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about consequences, it's a great principle really for living like Christ because it's a correction, it's a rebuke. When me and you went to go listen to Tim Tebow speak back in
Yeah.
June,
Yeah.
you know what he said about iron sharpens iron? It's getting close in your face and literally cutting out that imperfection,
That's right.
using the sharp edge to cut that out.
That's
That's
right.
how I was raised. when I go to college and I talk to people about my dad, and I tell them all the good things, I love you, whatever. I also tell them, hey, I was raised by a Marine, so I understand how you, I was raised tough. I was raised really well,
Yeah.
not as tough as you could have been,
Yeah.
but I was still raised with that level of, hey, I'm sharpening you, my son.
Yeah. But early on, yeah, I grew to be a better father.
Oh, so much.
But early on, like my consequences are too heavy for you. And I always say, if I could go back, I would have never even spanked you, not one time. But I didn't know better. I know better. I never thought I'd be the person who says, don't hit your children. I don't believe now that a person has to hit their children. And I know spare the rod, spoil the child, but the rod is consequences. It doesn't necessarily mean you got to beat the heck out of them. It can work. Hey, worked with me, worked some with you until it didn't work when you were a young kid.
I didn't, yeah. Like we stopped that when I was really young.
You were 5 years old. I remember the day. I remember the day, and I sat you down. You've always been a very mature kid, and you understood what I was telling you. And I said, hey, I promise you I'll never hit you again.
Never did.
No, never. I've never touched you again. And it's been one of the best decisions. I tell people this because if you can see on the camera, Luke's quite a lot larger than I am. He's got me by at least 40. Some would say maybe 50. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
I may have picked up some weight. May have picked up
That's
some
all
weight.
right. But I said if I'd have taught my son to be aggressive, I'd have been in real trouble today. Like real trouble. 6'3", 240. I'm 6 foot light sometimes, 6 foot light, I call it. Sometimes I'm 5'11" and 3/4. Sometimes I'm 6 foot. It's okay. I've gotten over that. And then I'm 185 pounds this morning. So I'd be in real trouble if I'd have taught you to be aggressive. And there's never been a real situation to where me and you had ever come to some kind of blows. There's never been a situation like that. And I would have people say, wait till he does this. And I'm like, I just don't know if he will. I just don't think he will. We could cross that bridge if it ever happens, but I know this. I was never going to hit you again, no matter what you did to me. And I think God honored that. I really do. I think He gave me you, He gave you a certain bent. If you don't know what bent is, it means a way someone is naturally. That I think you become this great kid because number one, you have that bent. You are set apart. You are made different, and you have two great parents. Your mother's a great parent. Like she's a great wife. She's a Proverbs 31 woman. The number two decision that you can ever make in life is who you marry. Now, sometimes I'll mistakenly say number one. I was corrected by somebody the other day, and I was like, oh, yeah. The number one is the acceptance of Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forget that. And I call it dropping the J card or the G card on me. People do that all the time. And in my mind, the reason I say stuff like that is because, like, it's a de facto thing that God is the reason for everything. I should, I'm sure, pay more umbrage to that up front, but. To me, in my mind, I'm like, God's got me. It's like, I say it this way. It's like being a Christian, I tell people, like, don't be weird about it. I've told you that. You
Yeah.
know what it means. I'll unpack it a little bit. So, you early in the podcast, I love it. You said, man, dad's the reason I'm able to do these things and provide. That's all. That's awesome to hear as a dad. But I'm not puffed up about it. I'm just not puffed up about it. Oh, you're telling me I did my job? You're telling me I did the lowest expectation of a father? Man, congrats to me. You know, that's because I have a reflection of my dad, and he didn't do the lowest, like it's the lowest expectation that you take care of your children. But I'm proud that I did in the fact that I honored God by honoring his commandments. And so I'm finished. I know you're trying to come in and be like, hey, dad, you deserve more than I'm like, no, it's the lowest expectation, bro. I promise you it is. And so God takes care of me, and everything is because of God. Everything. But I say, don't be weird about it. If you're a Christian and I say, hey, great talk, you really impacted the people. And then you look at me and you said, wasn't me. It was all God. I get really annoyed by that because I think we're made in the image of God. I'll unpack it. This is my own dad bro theology.
All right.
Is that okay? I got some of that. But God created me to do like critical thinking, but more importantly, deductive reasoning. The Sherlock Holmes of dads. I start with a premise and then I walk it back, just deductive reasoning. And if I'm made in the image of God, and my son, who's a great golfer, great man of God, he's a great teacher, he goes out, he does his thing. And if somebody gives you a compliment and you look at them and you go, it was all my dad. I'd be so annoyed and weirded out. I'd be like, dude, you're being a weirdo.
Yeah.
You, yeah, like me and Nancy provided the opening for you to be a golfer. We provided the opening for you to go to church. We provided the opening. We did our job, basic parenting, like expectations. And then you did the work. You did the obedience to God, the obedience to us. Honor your father and mother. You do that. Really obeyed us to the most point as you can be as a human becoming. You didn't obey us sometimes. Oh, well. But no, it's not all me. Like, God wants you to give yourself some credit. Like, you did a good job. You stepped out in obedience. You learned how to be a better speaker. He gave you all the abilities, but it's like gifts. Assembly is required. He gifted you, but it's not. He wants you to take some credit, I think.
Yeah. If we look at our mission, it's the come mission, right? Found in Matthew, at the very end of Matthew.
Not the O mission.
No, not the old mission, the come mission. At the very end of Matthew, where he's saying, go out. And what we're here to do is be a kingdom builders.
Yeah.
Expand his kingdom, grow his kingdom, bring his kingdom into the world, and live that out, which it's a big reason why living for his glory is called just that.
That's right.
Because we're living for his glory.
That's right.
If you remember my junior year of high school, I wrote it on my shoes. That's where I got this.
Told the story on a podcast the other day.
That's awesome. Here we go.
I cried too, so just so you know.
See, that's why I thought this could get emotional, because I know me and you.
A little emotional a while ago.
You did. I
see it.
I can see it in the face.
Yeah, I love emotion.
Oh yeah, I do too. And when you're looking at that, why we're here, yes, to glorify God, point that back out to Him.
That's right.
But you know what? God's glorious. God knows that He's glorious. If He wanted to show His glory to the entire world, He could do it.
Sure.
And we would have no choice but to be a witness to that. But He created us for a reason, not solely to see His glory, but to work in His glory.
That's right.
To be a part of that and live in that. And so when you're talking about God wants us to have some credit, to take some credit, it's because,
He's proud of you.
Yeah, because God is directly using you for that purpose.
It's funny, like if you're in the image of God, you're a dad, you point back to your children, you're very proud of them. You're happy for them. And I have a podcast, but I tell people about your podcast way more than I do mine. I share your podcast I almost never share my podcast. I share yours like almost every day. You know what I mean? It's funny because you point back to God, and I'm like, yeah, man. And so, yeah, I love it.
I appreciate the free, not marketing, the free sales. We had a conversation about that this morning.
Yeah, I'm a business coach, and I don't know if they know. But yeah, I say that my mentor taught me that I always start with this premise. My mentor taught me that marriage is grand. And I agree, marriage is grand. He said, but divorce is $100,000. You know what I mean? So Dan Gilly taught me that. And then I think about sales. I'm like, sales is grand and marketing is $100,000.
Interesting.
You can lose money marketing. Like more money's lost in business and marketing the wrong way than almost any other expense besides hiring the wrong people that I see companies do.
Yeah.
And so when I see people like trying to create this big marketing budget and platform, I'm like, I'm telling you, it's better to prove out your system in sales because sales requires time and effort and connections. And all they can say is no to you. Marketing feels good because nobody is like saying no to you.
Yeah.
It just, you're putting it out. If you read the comments, like it's a bad idea. I told you one time, I'm like,
yes.
Dude, look, you got you got a father and a son on a podcast, honoring each other. It's happy. Yeah. We're going to tell you, we have our problems. I've said dumb things to you. You've said dumb things to me. Like we get it. But overall, We are like 90% pretty good
I mean, minimum. We're
at
talking
minimum.
at least.
I think we're closer to 100, but
Yes.
I'm going to go 90.
Yeah.
And so the people who get on here and focused on the 10, okay, cool guys, but I'm not reading your comment. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I just don't know
We
what
still
we
got the
have.
yeah,
100%.
we still got the A. 90% today.
We got the A. And like it is funny, and the number one thing that I try to like impress upon people is that more's caught than taught. And so as a dad, if you're asking, I think the best thing that I did, honestly, that I do is actually live out the principles and I think that I teach.
Yeah.
At least 90% haters. I lose my temper. It's the number one thing that I have in life that I'm constantly working on. Anger. Why am I so angry sometimes? And I'm going to work on that. And that God's going to help me with it. I'm telling you. In the Bible, do not provoke your children to anger. I've done that. I don't know. I've provoked my children to anger. And because fathers forget about that. And it's right there with children honor your father, obey your parents. Did you know that?
Is it really?
Oh, yeah, it's right there in Proverbs. It's like back to back sentences.
That's wow, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure we could look it up later if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure fathers do not provoke your children to anger, and children obey your parents. Those are two biblical, they don't compete against each other, that's for sure. But usually, if I didn't provoke you to anger, you're way more likely to obey me. But then there's honor your mother and father, which is not the same as obey your parents.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not even close. Honestly, you're 21 years old. You don't need to obey me. Like, really? I'm like, he doesn't have to obey me. Now there's consequences
Yeah.
to doing the things that I ask you not to do. But honoring me is different. You can at the 21 years old, you're an adult. And one of the things that parents, in my opinion, just get all jacked up wrong is that when they're adult children, that their adult children aren't adults until they can live on their own, independent of their parents. I'm like, I don't think that your goal should be independence. It's definitely not dependence. There's dependence, there's independence, and there's interdependence.
Okay.
We are in interdependence today more than dependence. You are still dependent on me for your money. You're a college young man. Like you shouldn't be embarrassed about that. You know, a lot of people, I told you before, I come from nothing, which gets celebrated. You know what? I don't come from nothing. That's not true. I come from something. My mom is a good human. She raised me with principles. My grandparents raised me with principles. We had food. We weren't solely dependent. The whole government cheese foods, we didn't do that a lot. We raised a garden. We had meat a lot from hunting. We had things. There was a point we didn't have running water. Like we would literally go to the front, pump the old school pump, where you have a handle, and you just pump, and water comes in and it comes out. And then we had two refrigerators. One we filled with water, gallon jugs of water from empty milk cartons, and one with the food that we had. And we would actually take a bath in the winter, and we would take the clean jugs of water, and then we'd boil a big saucepan to make warm water. And then we would mix it in the bathtub. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great story. It's a great memory. Like when I think about it, I'm like, you know, poor kids, like whatever. That shaped me. So it didn't come from nothing. I come from America poor, which is not the same thing as real poor. We were America poor. But I say all that to say this. You are in a situation, you and Lacey, where you don't have to deal with that. And that's the way it's supposed to be. paying for your college, paying for your, let's talk about the prodigal son, right? That's your birthright. Like the prodigal son that left was spending his birthright. His dad just gave it to him early.
Yeah, that's right.
But your side of that story, in my estimation, you can disagree with me, is the son who didn't leave and screw it up.
Yeah. I stay pretty true.
You do, but what was his sin?
His sin was the fact when his brother came back, he wasn't very welcome. Or yeah, what was that? He didn't welcome his brother back when he came back.
He was less than that. He was mad and upset with the father for welcoming him back and throwing him a party.
Yeah.
And his sin was envy.
Mm.
And so when you're a quote good kid who doesn't really mess up and you have a sibling, you can resent and your parents for being graceful with them.
I can definitely resemble that remark from time to time.
I don't sit there and hawk on you about it, but I'm like, hey, dude. But having three brothers, it's hard for me to give grace. It's way harder to give grace to my brothers than it is to people that I really don't know.
Yeah.
I can promise you that. I got Matthew, Brian, Mike. Me and Mike have always been like best friends, period. Like you think about it, 10 months and 28 days apart. He's older. Like we're peas in a pod. There's a definite birth order. Like I don't really take a second seat of following from many people. But when Mike's there, I do. You've noticed?
I have.
Yeah, I'm like, but that's a birth order. That's like Esau and
Yeah, he's Esau and Jacob, but Jacob
that.
didn't. But in your case, you didn't steal the birthright.
No,
And it's even better.
there was no stealing birthright from Mike Barrett.
Yeah, it's also funny because like Esau, Mike is hairier than you
He's
are.
hairier. He's stronger. He hunts. He hunts. I don't really hunt.
He's more of a cook himself.
I do cook. Yeah,
Yeah, I do too. I like
cook.
it.
And
A future trophy husband.
I actually talked to, that's right. I actually talked to Mike the other day. I'm like, I'm going to go hunting with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll go. And I just don't enjoy it. Like he's eat up with it. He loves it. But yeah, if you look at those two things, but there's also times where I tried to grab his heel.
Yeah.
Oh, heel grabber. I'm more like, I can resemble Jacob, brother.
Oh yeah.
Jacob, if I look like I'm more his story than I am almost anybody in the Bible.
And I can see it.
Yeah.
I can definitely see where it lines up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I'm a Jacob guy. I'll steal your birthright when I was younger.
I need to share with you. I made a sermon on one of the stories of Jacob. I also made an incarnational preaching story on it. I need to share that with you. I think you might like it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm sure. Yeah. But anyway, but me and Mike, we grew up like we're still tight. Like,
Yeah.
we talk almost every day. We communicate every day. Like with text, we include you and Cole in some shorts that we like, the little clips that we're like, listen to this. They're almost always about Jesus, God, or some and faith, right? Some
Yeah.
kind of life lesson. We do like to send some funny memes that aren't
Yeah.
always about that, but
We enjoy it.
yeah, I like it's hilarious.
It can't all be serious.
No, it can't.
God is a God of laughter. He loves it.
We all hack on each other, which is fun. That's the Barrett way because we love each other. If we're not hacking on you, we're probably not happy with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to get that figured out. But your birthright, I'll go back to that. Like, because some people will like talk about daddy's money or whatever, right? And I'm like, it's supposed to be that way. That's your birthright. And it's okay. But I will tell you, like, my consequences, if you jack around, I'll just not give you any more money right now. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's a principle of life.
Yeah. I'm freshly 21. So I now, especially I live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, man.
There's a lot of stuff I have now unlocked, like last month turning 21. If I ever decide to go out and do that, do you know who no longer sponsors me?
That's right.
Barrett.
That's right. The
I'm no
consequence.
longer sponsored.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can re-sponsor later. You can put in for sponsorship after you behave yourself, and I can either approve or not. I might not be that again. So we're good. I like it.
Yeah. One thing, and just hearing you, like this is what I've just known my entire life.
Yeah.
This has been everything I've been around. It's all everything I've ever known. It's why I am the way I am. It shaped me. It formed me. I don't know another way.
Okay.
You do, and we've talked a bit about that.
Oh yeah.
And my curiosity, because it's easy for me to raise in that kind of man, because it's all I've ever known. But for you, it's not. It's something that you were raised, that you had to be formed into and transformed into over a long period of time. I'm 21, you're 49. How are you able to do that, find fresh perspective with how you grew up,
Mm.
and become the godly man that not only that you are, but you have now inspired me and a lot of other men to be?
So first, before I answer that, I'm going to correct you. It's not easy for you because been raised this way.
Okay.
It's just not. There's more people who get raised with means and well, with means one, right? It's if you're just raised with means but not ethics, you probably are not going to raise a strong man. But the way you raise, I think, is like with means and principles and ethics and godly like path. So yeah, you don't have to learn. You've witnessed it, and I appreciate you saying that. How did I become this person? I had some luck early on, and so when we were young, me and my brother, it's always us together. It's never been anything but us together, honestly. So when I tell my story, I have to tell his story. And I think he does the same thing. If he doesn't, shame on him. I'm just kidding. And so I know how he tells the story. But we were good at sports. We're athletes.
Yes.
And we got lucky to be able to have the ability to dunk a basketball. I got lucky to be able to run a 440 mile. I thought I was just a hard worker and that's how you get there. I just thought people were lazy. And then I ran a 2 minute half mile. Now I know you have to have a unique ability for that and you get to work. And I didn't even work as hard as I thought I was. If I'd known what I know now, I'd have worked a lot harder and went faster. But when you have that type of ability in our culture, people will give you things, especially if you're raised by a good mother and people like you. We didn't make great grades, but every adult that we were around would say the Barrett boys are very respectful. So I didn't have to worry about having to learn that into my adulthood. Most people who grow up in the way I grow up also have parents that don't have high character. My mom, just like my granddad, is tougher than a pine knot. She would literally use the words. Now, look, you can't use these today. She would say, I'll beat you till you beg me to kill you. And she would. The spare the rod, spoil the child. Like, buddy, she was tougher than your dad. You know what I mean? And she made mistakes, but this is what she did. And if my mom said, if you do, this will be the consequence, and you did that thing, you got the consequence.
That's right.
She didn't back up, she didn't back off. So that was the one thing that she did very well. There was no self-help books, there was no parenting books, there was no internet. She was doing what she thought she would do, that she did what she did until she knew better and then she did better. You didn't know better until she got it, until like she became a grandparent. You know what I mean? That there was no like self-education back then. Dr. John Deloney was not around.
Yeah.
And so that was set in me to be very respectful of adults. You got that now. Like that was there. So when I was able to play sports and be successful in that and respectful, then we got opportunities. So there's a man named Jerry Pierce who is our assistant principal, and his son Sean played basketball on our team. He would pay for our basketball camp every year, our basketball shoes, our uniforms, and then we would work it off in tobacco. So we would go to his farm, cut tobacco, house tobacco, hang tobacco, and what are you smiling about?
I like the way you say tobacco.
Tobacco. Yeah.
I like the way you say it.
And but this dude, this man would pay us on top of everything he did anyway.
Wow.
And so that's luck. That's who luck. But if you, like Zig says, if you got to be the right kind of person, which my mom and pop, me, mom, papa helped us become. I have uncles too that helped us. Do the right kind of things. Jerry knew, Mr. Pierce knew, that's what we call Mr. Pierce. We knew that we were going to cut tobacco for him and he trusted us. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Because if we didn't, my mom would beat us till we begged her to kill us.
Yeah, it wasn't, oh, this gets taken away. It's here comes mama.
And no, but we also learned through that progress, like it wasn't even a thought in our mind we weren't going to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's the principles that our parents and grandparents, my mom and grandparents taught us. And then we would show up and we would cut tobacco.
Yeah.
We would do hay, we would pick peppers, like we've done a lot of stuff. We would be a hod carrier, laying brick, block. Like we were hard workers. And so we got lucky in that manner.
Yeah.
And then I joined the Marine Corps because I was tired of working hard. That's stupid. And so they taught me principles, and then I would start to learn, and they taught me how to learn in there. And you would have to memorize like the max range of an M16A2 service rifle is 3,534 meters.
Still got it.
Yeah, and then the area target it's 800 meters, and then the point target's 550 meters.
Oh yeah, I've been throwing this out from 30 years ago.
Yeah, we're pushing something like that. And then the area target was the size of your torso, and the point target the size of your head. So a Marine with an open rifle, open sights, can hit you in the head from 550 meters and in the body from 800 meters.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. No scope.
That I don't know meters, but I know yards and how close they are, and that's a long way away.
Meters are longer than yards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a good way away.
Yeah.
Like
It's 800 meters is a half a mile.
yeah,
Right.
You can hit somebody's torso from half a mile out like that.
Check.
I mean, that's
10 out of 10.
that's just cool to me.
Yep. There's no missing.
Nope.
Okay. It's good.
I hear you.
I was listening to Nick Freitas the other day. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
I sent him to you. You know who it is.
Okay.
I say if you haven't listened to the podcast, you need to listen to the podcast. But he's in this podcast, and he's a Green Beret, and his son is now a Green Beret. But when you give someone's, I do a lot of speaking, and similar with him, when they introduce you, they say business coach, Marine, father, all this stuff. Men are more impressed with being a Marine than anything. Do you know why?
Y'all do things pretty hard, and
Because it's dangerous. And men are attracted to danger because it awakens their spirit.
oh yeah,
I love that. But joining the Marines changed my whole trajectory. And then I started learning. And then I would get around these Marines that Master Gunnery Sergeant King, William B. King, I hope he's still alive. I'd like to see him again one day. But he took me under his wing and fathered me a little bit. And I remember one time he said, hey, I'm 19 years old, right? And he said, I was a Lance Corporal. He said, Lance Corporal Barrett, if you ever get arrested, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, call me up. And he said, there will be no discussion. I'll pick you up. Or if you ever get in trouble, there will be no discussion. I'll pick you up. But the next day, we're going to talk about it. One day, I was coming back to the Marines from leave, and I got off the interstate. And I don't know if you've ever gotten off the interstate at 2 a.m. in the morning. There's nothing going on. And when you're driving 75 miles an hour and then you get on a 45-mile-an-hour highway, 75 still feels like you're not speeding. Have you ever done that?
yeah. I remember when I had my permit and we were driving back from a tournament. And I got off the highway, I turned on the man of war, and we're approaching a red light. You better stop. You're
Yeah.
coming in hot.
So I was driving 75 and a 45, and it was around the base. And if you get around a base full of Marines, the cops are not impressed with you because everybody's a Marine there. If I got pulled over in Tennessee, I usually get off with a warning because you're a jarhead.
Yeah.
This cop was probably a former Marine himself. And I'm not like the only thing I'm doing wrong is going 75 and a 45. I'm 19 years old, and he's like, "Get out of your truck." And I was like, "Okay." And I didn't know what that meant. What that meant is he was going to arrest me. And so he's like, "Put your hands on the hood." And I'm like, "Sir, I've never been arrested." He said, "Well, there's a first time for everything." And I'm scared out of my ever loving mind.
I didn't know that you were arrested.
Oh, dude, I got stories. And then like it's reckless driving.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like I'm in 19. I had no clue. So I called Master Guns. He picked me up 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. We talked about it the next day. And so after our talk, I was doing things I didn't like to do for the next month to repay the pittance. But he showed now, here's the thing. He could have gotten me again. Because like double jeopardy. Do you know what double jeopardy means?
It's double the points.
You can't get tried for the same thing twice.
Okay.
In the Marine Corps, you can. If you go to jail in the civilian deal, they can try you again in the Marine Corps, and then you're doubled up. So you owe the
Oh.
state and you owe the Marines.
Oh no.
So he could do that, but because he taught me how to be a dad, like he was fathering me, mentoring me, he gave me the choice. And I've done this with you before. You can either have this or you can have this. And so he just gave me push-ups and chores, and you call it chores, that we call it things we didn't like to do, burn the crapper as we would call it. So that's what I did. I repaid that. That's grace with consequence.
That's good.
Yeah.
Paying it back in a different way.
Yeah.
I like that because you pay it back in a way that teaches you. The first thing that comes to mind about a way that you did it with me, when I was in second grade, I was at first, second grade, I was acting up in school. And so I had to go, I went back with you after school to Auto Excel. And so I got the choice. I had to spend the next 2 hours before you got off work standing in the corner or get spanked.
Yeah, because I really wanted to spank you, and I already promised you that I didn't. I never have before, but I was willing to this time because my own ego wanted me to spank him.
Yeah. Do
Just
you
so
even
everybody's
remember
clear.
what I did?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Lord, no, I don't remember. It was probably nothing because I was an idiot.
And so I think that's another thing that plays into the guy was like, all right, you said you weren't going to hit your kids, so you're not going to anymore. Because I chose the corner for 2 hours.
No, because that's how bad my spankings were.
Yeah,
Honestly, it
he
was
didn't
terrible.
use anything to hit me, but his hand don't feel very good.
It was not great. But I learned. But I also learned a lot about parenting that day, and I'm like, I'm never gonna give my son that kind of consequence because it's stupid. Now, the one time I did, and I'm pretty proud of this one, but I took your Nintendo away for a year.
Oh, the DS3 for a
The
year.
DS3, right?
Yeah, you also took my PlayStation 3 away for, I don't know if it was a full year, but it was a very long time.
Yeah, because when I say something, just like my mom, and you do it, like it's gonna happen, right? I can't take it back. That's what the 2 hour thing. I couldn't take it back, and I wish, like in the middle of it, I knew I'd messed up, and I was like, man. But if I could go back, honestly, this just learning, I would have been like, bro. After 15 minutes, I go, that was a terrible punishment. I'm sorry. You're good. Let's go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's just being young. But what I like is I don't like you when you're a parent, you don't like because what I love about you, you do seek being Nancy's counsel a ton. And we walk you through some tough stuff. And I'm able to now, when you do have kids, help you not do those stupid things.
Yeah. One thing and we could talk about I shouldn't have been given that choice or that way, but what I did learn with you, no matter what consequences I got, whether they were good consequences or bad consequences, whether you made the right choice or the wrong choice about how to give me consequences, one thing that I learned in that moment, I'm like, I stood there for the full 2 hours.
I know you did. That's why you
And
got that dog in you.
yeah, but I knew that if my dad said that I was going to do something or he was going to do something, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And so even though you were like, even in that moment, like I shouldn't have, I still did the 2 hours. The games were taken away for that year because you said that was what's going to happen. You didn't go back on your word. And you know what? As our true father, God doesn't either.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, there's the other side of that. I think when I tell you these good things are going to happen, those things happen too.
That's true. That's
Like,
yeah. I've never known you to not live up to your word.
yeah, that's good, man. I appreciate that.
I actually know you more to live past your word.
Ah, that's good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Huh.
I can think of many examples in my life where you've lived past your
Mm.
word. I remember growing up, this is when I was in middle school and I saw, these upperclassmen, they're driving to school, they have the junior, senior lot, and I'm looking over at you and I'm like, man, talking about I can't wait to drive or something. I'm like, what's my first vehicle gonna be? And he said, all right, here's what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is I don't know why you laughing.
I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
What you said was you pay for when you're 16, it's time to drive and get your vehicle. If you pay for half, I'll pay whatever you pay for, I will pay that. I'll mirror that.
I'll match it 50-50.
Yeah.
I called it the 401 dad.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
bet you 50-50. You know what I've never had to do in my entire life? I'm 21 now, I've been driving for 5 years. I've never had to pay for my vehicle. I didn't have to pay for a vehicle. I don't have to pay insurance for my vehicle. I don't have to pay for my gas. There's no part of my vehicle, of my truck, that I have to pay for.
Yeah. Yeah. Circumstances changed, right? Like we worked hard being Nance. And at that time when I said that, we didn't have the means we do. And I didn't know how it was going to work out. I think that a lot of people think they say that they know how it's going to work out. I set this goal and I did this and I did all those things. I set goals and did those things. And this is like you say, past your word. I appreciate that. But I didn't know we would be in the situation we are today, which is very blessed by God. We worked hard. We were very obedient to God's word. God put a dream in my heart. He gave me a skill set that matched that dream. And we are able to do the things for our children more than I've ever thought possible. And here's what I tell people, and I tell my wife, I'm like, man, if I'd have known that we would be here, we would have had another child. And I just recently started saying that because our success has recently really been in the last 5 or 6 years of really growing because we spent 20 years really working hard on just this thing that we didn't know if it was gonna how it was gonna work out, if it was gonna work out, or I've got a lot of crazy ideas but I'm I love that I'm able to live past that. I
Mhm.
love that. Thank you for saying that because I work very hard to do that. And what I also know is my ceiling is your floor. And so I know that I always say it like Luke's never going to take for granted where his floor is. And so he's going to just make it even better. He's going to 10x anything that you've been provided,
Yeah.
right? It's the parable of the talents, right?
Yeah.
And so we talk about that a lot, or not exactly that parable, but that type of principle. And I'm excited about it. So I appreciate you saying that because I think that's what God does, right? He lives past his promises. Like he gives you even more than the little bit of he. I think he tells us we have this, and then but you really don't know how much more I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know I had more, but God does.
Oh yeah. That's why obedience to him is so great
Yeah,
because I learned through my obedience with you as my dad that I ended up getting way more than I thought I was going to get. There are points where I'm like, man, I got that, and I didn't think you were going to go that far.
yeah,
I didn't think you were going to give me that much, and you have because, and like you mentioned earlier, a big part of that was just my ability to honor you and to
yeah,
have obedience to you. And God, plenty of times where God works the same way, where that
yeah.
obedience leads to blessing, not just up to His word, sometimes even past what we experience it to be.
Yeah. I've never had this epiphany until just now, but I don't think you can feel how much I love you. Check.
Yeah. I honestly, there are people that I love, people that I've really taken under my wing as a big brother. The pride I feel for them sometimes and how proud I am of them, I love it so much. We actually, in October, we had a bunch of people, we had a 4-week series, Fireside Faith. of those kids that I feel a lot of pride for in a lot of ways. I couldn't imagine being an actual dad, having an actual son or an actual daughter. I'm not going to pretend to know until I have it.
You will, right? Yeah. Papa said something to me the other day. He came in and he said he loved me. He always says he's proud of me because
Hmm.
he knows that's everything to me.
Yeah.
Like everything.
He said it to me too after he turned to you.
It's everything. But he said when he walked in, he said, I love you, and you can't know how much. And I'm like, I bet I can't. Even though I have kids, I get it. And he calls me Sam. He calls Mike Buddy, and me Sam. He has nicknames for everybody, but I don't think anybody else's has stuck like ours. Because I've never heard him call me anything but Sam. It's never come out of his mouth. I've never heard him call Mike anything but Buddy. He calls him Bud. He calls us Bud and Sam. It just rolls off. But yeah, he said Sam, and I know he loves me. It's a crazy thing. I know if my papa loves me like that, I don't know. I can't imagine how much God does.
Yeah.
I think that guy, he's 92 years old, and I think he's got another like 20 years in him.
Yeah, he's like you said, tougher than a pine knot.
That's right. That's right. He's crazy. He takes off down the stairs, up the stairs. I'm like,
Oh yeah, I saw him go up and down the stairs of the lake house, and I'm like, what?
oh yeah, dude.
I thought he was beyond the stair climbing age.
Man, he climbed up. You've been to Reagan's, my nephew, his cousin. She plays basketball,
Yeah,
and we were at the bottom of the basketball court, and he climbed the steps all the way up to the top thing in that gym
that's pretty cool.
like that. I followed him up just in case. But yeah, man, that's where we get our grit, our grind, our toughness is Papa.
Yeah,
So it's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Everything is, especially with what I see in you and Mike and what it's now becoming with me and Cole.
Yeah.
It's just a huge stem because everybody that's ever been something has been inspired by somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
I
Kobe
agree.
Bryant is, I say this all the time, he defines greatness as the ability to inspire the person next to you
Hmm.
because everybody that's ever achieved greatness has been inspired by somebody.
Who was he inspired by?
A lot by his dad. He's always been a Lakers guy, so Magic and Kareem played a huge part in that.
You're missing the main guy. Jordan, bro.
Jordan, oh my gosh.
I was trying to make you
I,
say Jordan.
I can't believe it. Well, you know me, I'm a LeBron kind of guy.
Nobody's
So
perfect.
yeah.
Nobody's perfect, bro.
Yeah, but Jordan was a huge one. I studied, oh, my freshman year of college, one of my friends, he was like, dude, you're a religion major, you study pastoral ministry, but you got a minor in Kobeology.
You know what they don't have?
What do they not
The
have?
LeBron rules.
The LeBron rules.
They never had the Kobe rules.
Yeah, oh man.
They created rules around Michael Jordan because he's so dominant. The
I-
Jordan rules, man.
How can you make a plan for LeBron? He can do anything you want him to.
except except win a bunch of championships.
The greatest one played for the greatest team ever assembled at that time. The other played against the greatest team ever assembled at that time. So yes, the 2016 Golden State Warriors were better than the 96 Bulls. But that's a conversation. That's a conversation for a different podcast.
Yeah. Youth is wasted on the wrong people. All right.
Yeah, man, this has been a really good one.
I loved it. Yeah.
I do too. I really enjoyed this conversation. I knew that I would. I'm telling you what, I think there's a level of I failed because I didn't make you cry.
I choked up
You did.
early.
You did. You did. Yeah, it was good. This one's one of my favorites, and just as I knew that it would be. Talking, the two kinds of people that I love having on here the most are Rise Up Kingmen,
Yeah.
which I've had on early, and they're great. And then also Barrett Man. I had Cole on here back in the summer. You and Mike in recent weeks, and you guys are ruckmen yourselves.
That's right.
But men that know how to have conversations like these with intention, with purpose, with passion, and all just we have this mind of growth, and we want others to encounter that same growth.
That's right.
We talked about inspiration a few minutes ago. We were inspired, and we go out and inspire and do that same thing.
That's right.
And that's just what we do. And the conversations like these just feed into me like no other. And I'm grateful that this has just been my life.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see how that continues how I am able to inspire others because I have been so deeply inspired
Yeah.
by men like you,
I appreciate
by
that.
having a dad like you.
Thanks. The funny thing is this is a podcast, but this is the way we talk all the time.
Yes, it's just the way we do it.
Yep.
It's
All
just
right,
the way
brother.
we do it. Yeah.
All right. Love you, son.
I love you, Dad. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Living for His Glory. I had such an amazing time making it, and I really hope it connected and impacted you on a significant level. I love making and recording episodes like these. I truly believe that they fulfill the Living for His Glory mission, which is to help you break free of your worldly chains and step into the person that God has called you to be. I love you guys. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I hope that it changes something about how you do this week. I hope you have a good day and a good week as we continue to get ready for next week's episode. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you later.